Welcome to Insight with Belle. I am your host, Belle Hernandez Castillo, coming to you from our Los Angeles studios. My guest today is actor Mauricio Mendoza. He had a dream of starring on Broadway, and he was inspired by the late actor Raúl Julia and his ability to dance and sing, perform in film, and his strength as a Shakespearean actor. So Mauricio patterned his career after his. He attended the University of San Diego and the Old Globe Professional Actor Training Program in classical theater. He did theater in San Diego and in several musical productions before work in film and television came calling. Mauricio spent the next decades working in groundbreaking TV shows like Angeles on Telemundo and Showtime Network's Resurrection Boulevard. He has appeared on the remake of Matlock, also on Criminal Minds, and others.
His business license, driver's license, American and Spanish passports.
She can't take my passports.
Is that a challenge?
Adam, do something.
My team tells me you've done some really original stuff in the indie space.
Thank you. I try.
Well, we're definitely on the lookout for breakthrough shows. The edgier, the better. So, what do you got?
I want to reboot the old sitcom Step Right Up. Dead serious. And I want to do it with the original cast.
Am I thinking of the right one? Can somebody pull up a clip?
I gotta go back to the North Pole.
Finally, we were starting to regret giving a human all this power. I am the one who knocks over your town's infrastructure.
Who's the bad guy?
He went that way! He went that way right over there! Look at him! Hands on your head! Okay, but this is on you. He's getting further and further away.
Capitan?
What? I'm as surprised as you!
Carl Copperthwaite, you're under arrest for the murder and desecration of a body.
Careful, I have an active boil. I have a prescription underwear. Top drawer, underneath the knives.
Clear.
Come on, let's go!
He is now also producing. He knew that to play the kind of roles he wanted, he had to create them. He became one of the executive producers of the Imagen Award-winning web series Encounters and has gone on to produce several other TV and film projects. And he is currently in post-production on Her Choices, a film he produced with his wife Jennifer Behrens under their company True Form Films. But after all these years, his dream of being on Broadway became a reality. He recently finished a run as Raúl Garcia in the musical Real Women Have Curves. We're going to talk about that and so many other things. So stay tuned for my interview with Mauricio Mendoza coming up next. Welcome back. I am so excited for my next guest. He is a producer, he is an actor, he is a writer, and he's also a dad. And there's so much more that you're going to learn about Mauricio Mendoza, who is our guest today. He started off in theater, and he recently ended up realizing a dream that he had back when he started as an actor, to be on Broadway. How did he get there? Let's find out. Let's welcome Mauricio Mendoza to Inside with Belle. Mauricio, so glad to see you.
Good to see you, Belle.
Likewise. I mean, we've been in the trenches for a long time. So we have that knowledge of how things have gotten a little bit better. And also I wanted to talk about your journey. You always wanted to be on Broadway. But let's get back to that a little bit later, because I want to find out how you started in the business. I know you were from San Diego and you went to school there. And then you decided, or did you start working on television when you were in San Diego, or did you move up to LA to do that?
No, I mean, truly, it's my mom's fault. I have 4 siblings, 4 men, and we were all raised singing and dancing. I'm Colombian, and my parents always had us dancing Colombian, folklorico, and always performing. She had a group called Esmeraldas de Colombia. So we were always dancing since we were kids. So it was just something that was part of what I knew. I always tell people it's not really that I chose to do this. I feel that the universe chose it for me. Mm-hmm. And I just enjoy it and love it so much. And I'm so passionate about what I do that I'm still in the game because of it.
So I know that you and your brother, who is your twin brother, you did a lot of musical theater, musical performances.
Correct.
And when did you decide that, or when did you get that first job on film and TV that you decided, okay, I think I'm going to go this route?
I finished getting my graduate degree in San Diego with the Oak Globe Theater, USD and Oak Globe Professional Theater Program. And they took us to New York to meet agents. And my goal was to stay there and to pursue the theater and musical theater route. And I was in New York for about 3 weeks. And I knew that part of me, I needed to be closer to my family. And that was a must for me. So I decided then after 3 weeks that New York was not my scene. And I said, I'm going to be in LA. I will pursue the theater from LA because I knew that Broadway shows would come to Screenland Studios, the Debbie Reynolds Studios. And I could audition for shows and do regional theater across the country from Los Angeles. So I moved to LA, said this is at least it's closer to my family and closer to the business. So that was sort of the medium point for me. And what happened is I got signed by an agent. His name was the Gage Group. And also they had a commercial department. And I started auditioning for things that they were sending me to. And I had no plan to be in this business.
You know, that's pretty lucky, because usually people come to Hollywood and they struggle. They can't even find an agent to save their lives, for some people for years, and then other people just give up. So that's pretty amazing. They saw the talent and they signed you up.
Yeah, well, I have to say that the Oak Globe Theater, because I was part of a master's program, they actually did we auditioned in front of agents. They had a night where we would do monologues in front of agents. And of course, people were very interested in me because I was bilingual, specifically because I was bilingual. And I had choices. And I decided to go with my first agent, which is the Gage Group. And that's how I got started. And then I started seeing, wait a minute, I can make this much money. So I sort of started doing it both, but I started first commercially in 1994. By 1997, I started doing television, little spots here and there. And then 1999, all of a sudden
Go ahead. 1999, what
I
happened?
auditioned for a TV show called Angeles for Telemundo. They were doing the first bilingual. This is when Nelly Galan and Telemundo, they were doing, they wanted to do the new bilingual channel. And I auditioned for Charlie's Angels in Spanish and got my first series regular on that, playing the Bosley character. And then I just got hooked. I really just got hooked with also doing television. So I said, I don't have to choose. I don't have to choose.
Television chose you.
Yes.
Right? Television chose you.
100%.
But you also did a series regular in one of the biggest landmark and groundbreaking shows for Latino families on television, which was Resurrection Boulevard.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it happened, honestly, that Angeles got canceled. And 6 months later, I was on Resurrection Boulevard. If Angeles had never been canceled the first season, Resurrection would have never happened.
You know, that's just so amazing that that's your story, because a lot of the persons that I interview, it's always like, yeah, I couldn't find that role, and there was only these stereotypical roles, and you played 2 series regulars of non-stereotypical roles. I mean, Charlie's Angels, you know, you were the boss, basically the voice boss, but you were the boss. And also Resurrection Boulevard, you played a family member of a Latino family, but you played a promoter.
Correct.
Promoter in boxing. Tell us about working on that show, getting the role, and just tell us about that experience.
It was, this is when my theater world and television collided. I had auditioned for Nicholas's part first and got a call back. And after the first call back, I didn't get a third call back. So it was done. Then the audition for Michael DeLaurence's role, and I went in and I didn't get a call back for Carlos's role. Then I heard there was a role for Miguel Santiago, but they didn't bring me in for it. they, from what I heard through the grapevine, is that they were courting Isai Morales for the part. So, but my agents couldn't get me in. This is what I tell people. I didn't know what I didn't know. I found Bob Moronis's number, and I
The casting director.
Yes, I called him directly. And somehow, I can't remember how I got through, but I got through to Bob. And Bob said, okay, come and audition. And I auditioned for Miguel. And all of a sudden, I got a call back for Miguel. So I knew, oh, wait, so the possibility of this is open. I went through about 6 callbacks. And in the last callback, Bob said, I have to be honest with you. The possibilities are slim on this character. They think that you're too young for this part. Like, what do you mean? I am 33. The character's 33. Yeah, but there's an issue with the age. And I'm like, so I left brokenhearted. And as I'm walking out, again, I didn't know what I didn't know. I saw Dennis Leone, the creator's office. And I just had the balls to walk.
Took a lot of that. Yes, for sure.
I knocked on the door and I said, Mr. Leone, he goes, yes, I've been auditioning. Oh, yeah. Come in. And I sat down and I said, listen, I know that there's an issue on the age, but I can tell you that I am right for this role. I feel it in the gut of my soul. There's a show I'm doing right now, Tony Plana, and I put Tony Plana because he was already cast as the dad, is directing a Shakespeare show, and I'm their lead, Much Ado About Nothing, at the John Anson Ford. If you can come and see me in this, I don't think there will be any other platform that will give me that sort of the age that you guys are looking for. I'm doing Shakespeare. It's I can be bigger than life, and I don't know if bigger than life was the right thing to say at that moment for television, but I said I can play this age. And then he looks at me and he goes, and there was a picture of Michael and Nicholas. And he goes, you think you could be Michael De Lorenzo's older brother in this series? And I said, yes, I can. He showed up to the show. And the rest is history.
And now, here you are. The show is celebrating 25 years since it premiered. Yep. And it was, at that time, the only show that showed a Latino family that was not your stereotypical family. And it gave so many of you a start for your expanded career. You were already working. You had already done one other show as, a series regular. And then finally, Real Women Have Curves came calling, and you were on Broadway recently in this wonderful show. It's by Josefina Lopez, and she wrote it as a play. It was a play, then it went to be a movie, and she always had that goal for it to be to go to Broadway, and it did. And it had different iterations, because as you go to Broadway, you have to go through a certain path. And you were not part of those 2 first iterations of the show, but you wound up on Broadway. Tell me what happened. How did that happen?
Belle, again, this is when the universe has something around the corner and you have no idea. Jennifer and I had, my wife, Jennifer, we have a company called True Form Films, and we produce feature films. We were in Miami producing a film, and I got this call for this role, and I passed on the audition at that moment.
You did?
Yes, I just said, I can't. I'm in the middle of this. You will know what it is to produce something. I am not a multitasker. I need to do one thing and do it right. And I was the main producer on this thing. I just couldn't. Then I got back home in January, and they auditioned. They called for an audition again, and I thought to myself, wait a minute. They've been doing this in Boston. Isn't this the same cast that is going to Broadway? That's what I thought at that moment. Right. And I start looking at the sides, Belle, and I'm going, I've auditioned for this already. I looked at the song. I had already auditioned for this about 8 months ago, prior to this, for the Boston cast, and I had forgotten about it. Mm-hmm. because at that moment I was doing the Addams Family in San Diego. I completely had forgotten about it because, you know, we get so many auditions. I just had forgotten about it. And I called my agents. I said, guys, I've already auditioned for this. Really? They had forgotten about it. And I said, yeah, I'm not resending. I have the audition. I'm sending what I sent. So I sent my whole audition. Within 10 days, I was in New York.
Wow.
So what now I found out later after I got cast is that they had been auditioning for this character for the last 3 months and they hadn't found their guy.
So that is how your dream of being on Broadway became a reality. How many years afterwards? 30 years afterwards?
Yeah, about 20. Yeah, about 30. You would say about 30 years later. I mean, I've been doing regional theater for so long.
Yeah.
And but that dream of Broadway I had just already put it. You know, I said the possibility of a Latino getting on Broadway is so, you know, minute that I just put it in a drawer. I left it there, and the universe had other plans.
You have started producing your own shows, your own films.
Correct.
And you have that very important film that you were in Miami working on when they called you, and that's Her Choices, which is a story that is based on your wife, Jennifer Barron's life, because she's also an actress.
Correct.
And so that you've been working on this for a while, and it seems like you're getting close to maybe putting it out there. Tell us about that production.
Well, it's we've been producing now, my wife and I, for about 14 years now. We're counting this as our 13th movie. We started with web series, and we started doing, producing music videos, and we were very passionate about the story, of course, because it's my wife's, and she had been trying to greenlight this project for about 20 years. And we were always just waiting for the money. We were waiting for the $5 million to show up.
You're waiting for a studio to say, we got to do this movie. When in actuality, that never happened.
That never happened. So we took it upon ourselves to go find the money. And we were able to, we did a budget at 1 million, and which, everybody said it can't be done at 1 million. It cannot be done. And we prove when you see it, Belle, you'll see that we did the impossible. It's a period piece, 1987. It starts in 1976 to 1996. So it's a period piece. We're very proud of it. It took everything we had, every knowledge, every tool, everything that we've learned in the business to make this happen. What we learned also within distribution is now it's based on true events. We've taken some liberties in the film that did not happen, but to dramatize it, and we understood that we needed some elements for distribution to be able to know, because we have the name, we don't have the Brad Pitts in our movie or the Benicio del Toro, so we knew that we needed to find certain elements that distribution would be open to taking, which is the action. We didn't want to do the narco side of the world that this character gets caught in, but some of it had to be brought in, but we brought it in a way that we could be okay with. So there were certain elements that are not part of the story, but man, Belle, we are so proud of what we've done. We're proud of what we're seeing, and this is for us our calling card to the next level. But what we also believe is that you can't wait for anybody to give you that dream. You just got to go. I have to say it. There's no other way to say it. You got to go balls out, and if you believe in yourself, you got to invest in yourself. And that's what we've believed. And that's what you've known of me since I started doing encounters. And I started figuring out how to do it and not wait for somebody to greenlight my stuff.
That was the key. We can't wait for anyone to greenlight us. How can people follow you to find out when it's going to be premiered, to find out how they can support by spreading the word?
Well, my Instagram is, official Mauricio Mendoza. And, my Facebook, I use all of my social media to get the word out on where we are with the movie, and they will know. Trust me, Belle. Part of the thing that we've learned is that making a movie now is easy for us. Easy. Distribution is the hardest thing.
Right.
So we were gonna do some marketing on this and get it out and get our community behind it. We will need our community behind us. We'll be calling you, Belle.
Let's market our projects so that they can be seen, they can make money, and we can make more projects.
Correct. Because what people don't understand is you can get something on, sometimes you'll get an okay deal, you'll end up on Amazon, but if there's no marketing, people clicking, not necessarily going to stop right there if they don't know anything about it, and why you understand why they use names on a lot of posters, because people will go to what they recognize.
Right.
But last Anora, as you well know, won the Oscar, and that sort of also gave us this sort of, wow, here's a movie that wins the Oscar, was done for $6 million and has no names.
Right.
And it proves to us that if there's enough juice and marketing behind it, people will get interested enough to go watch it.
Right. Well, congratulations, Mauricio. You and your wife, Jennifer, who's a beautiful, sweet person, make such a great team.
Thank you.
You've been working together as producers, and I think you've kind of done a role here and there together, a movie together. But congratulations on all of this. This is very exciting, especially about your movie. And keep on doing what you do, because you're making an impact, and you're happy. It makes you happy to create. So keep creating. It
does. It really does make me happy to be able. That's the legacy that I want to leave behind. That I left something better within the industry. The legacy of being a good husband, a good father. That's really the legacy that I hope to leave behind. And I'm lucky and blessed to have a wife that is my teammate. We go to battle out there, and you and Kika know you got to love each other to be able to be partners in this industry. And
amen to that.
And to what we do as partners, we get in there in the boxing ring, but we always know what the end is making sure that we're making a difference.
Yes, gracias. Thank you so much, Mauricio. Thank you for joining us on Inside the Bell.
Thank you, Belle. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the support always.
Welcome back. Mauricio is proof that Broadway dreams do come true. And what an amazing story of how he finally got to Broadway. However, roles for Latinos on Broadway are few and far between. Before Zoot Suit, a play written by Luis Valdez, which premiered on Broadway in 1979, there were very few or none fully Latino-themed Broadway shows. However, just to be clear, the chances of getting cast on a Broadway show are pretty slim, no matter the ethnicity. According to Backstage, the actors you see on a Broadway stage only make up nearly 1% of professional actors nationwide. And if you break that down into Latino roles, those are harder because they're not written for Latinos, a lot of the roles, unless you are a mainstream actress and can cross over like Chita Rivera did. Then you get to be the Broadway star that she was. Since Zoot Suit premiered on Broadway in 1979, there have only been 7 other Latino-themed shows on Broadway. That is only 8 shows in 5 decades. However, these productions were all nominated for a Tony. In 1979, Zoot Suit, Edward James Olmos was nominated for a Best Featured Actor in a Play. 1980, West Side Story, The Revival, received 2 Tony Award nominations. 1993, Kiss of the Spider Woman received 10 Tony Award nominations, and it won for the Best 2 Female and 1 Female in the Lead and Best Musical. In 1998, The Capeman was nominated for Best Original Score, Best Orchestration, and Best Scenic Design. 2008, In the Heights, nominated for 13 Tony Awards. It won 4. 2015, On My Feet, Tony Award nominations for Best Choreography. 2025, Real Women Have Curves received 2 Tony Award nominations, Best Featured Actress in a Musical and Best Original Score. And Buena Vista Social Club, again in 2025, received 10 Tony Award nominations and won Best Featured Actress, Best Choreography, Best Orchestrations, and Best Sound Design. These productions were all nominated for a Tony, all Latino themed. And this is the highest award for a theatrical production. And this year there were 2 Latino Broadway shows, Real Women Have Curves and the Buena Vista Social Club. Real Women Have Curves is no longer on Broadway, but the Buena Vista Social Club is still going. So get yourself a ticket and go see a Broadway show. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow us on Insight with Belle. Until next time.